in between the lines where nothing is out of bounds and adversity is an opportunity to adjust and overcome. Joe, we just witnessed another outstanding week of football at the divisional round, the NFL Divisional Round. But most recently, we just seen overtime thriller, if you must say, the Chicago Bears and the LA Rams. What's your thoughts on this game that we just seen?
I love sports. That's my initial thoughts. I love sports, and any given Sunday, any given Saturday as of yesterday, any given Monday, tomorrow, when you're talking about college, it doesn't matter. Vaughn, I am competitive as it gets, and so are you. So when we predict these games and we want our teams to win, who we pick, I want to be above 500. I want to go undefeated. My goodness, it's so hard. How hard is that? How hard is it? Because, man, tonight you could have counted chickens before they hatched. You could have counted Caleb Williams out, the game we just saw, and he found a way on 4th and 12. What was fascinating about the last game that we just saw, Chicago Bears versus the Los Angeles Rams, is that it was 4th and 4 from like the 14-yard line. And he ended up throwing a 55-yard touchdown pass.
Right.
He was at the 14-yard line, and he ended up throwing a 55-yard touchdown pass. And again, man, heroic. And it was one to watch. It's one to watch. When you look at playoff football, with only 4 teams left, as far as this weekend or going into next weekend, what else would you want? What else can you want? What else can you ask for? Chicago, the somewhat mecca of football, been playing football for how long? Over a century now. It was just fabulous, man. Fabulous, bro.
Can I say, is it too early to say that Chicago Bears football is back? Because I was already sending out some clips, and maybe premature, but I said last week that I felt like Caleb Williams had the talent and was going to be the next, I see Aaron Rodgers, John Elway type quarterback, just based on the throws that he can make, being able to utilize his feet. And we seen it once again. I should have mentioned a little Brett Favre in him, the way he can he can win you the game, or he can possibly lose you the game with decision makings. But that's what comes with being an inexperienced quarterback in the playoffs.
I think you can see it.
What you said? Yeah, you couldn't tell, but I feel like that last pass might have just got away from him, because I don't know who exactly he was going to.
Well, he was going to DJ Moore, and DJ Moore, he was trying to kind of flatten DJ Moore off a little bit and come in front of the guy that picked it off. DJ Moore gave up on the route and didn't finish it. And that's a little disappointing, and it's nobody's fault except Caleb. But he thought DJ Moore was going to at least give him a chance to make a spectacular catch or knock the ball down. Definitely don't stop on the route, and definitely don't let it be an interception. You made me think when you were talking about gunslinging Caleb Williams and mentioned some of the greats. As a former quarterback, I think that the National Football League is in very good hands as far as the young generation of quarterbacks. Because, listen, Matthew Stafford is not good. In great hands as quarterbacks, period.
Right.
Because I don't see the projected MVP Matthew Stafford. I don't see him retiring. So he's going to be coming back. When you look at, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, they're going to be coming back. And look at the guys now. Look at next week, without Matthew Stafford, we can take him out. That's going to be a Sam Darnold. That's going to be a Drake May. Bo Nix was supposed to be going ahead and going forward, but he had that ankle being broken. So the health of the National Football League in terms of good quarterback play is in good hands. And I'll ask you a question about tonight in the Chicago Bears that you asked me about. Are they here to stay? Is this season they just put together, is that a really, really good season, or should they be disappointed?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say, based on the last decade, that's a really good season. 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 They should be disappointed, but it's a
Right.
really good season. Right now, they should be disappointed, but the fans are grateful because the most important position is the quarterback. And if you got a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, it's Tom Brady, Matthew Stafford, where, hey, if you give my guy a shot, the rest of the team believe that we're going to win. And that's what they got in Chicago. When you got a quarterback like that, not a Kirk Cousins, not, a lot of other quarterbacks that I don't have to name, but where there's no faith that he going to win us this game if you give us opportunity. Win or lose, you'd rather take your guy. And I think that's why I asked, is Chicago here to stay? Because I think they got the quarterback position solidified. The only other quarterback that can really even be mentioned in that division is going to be Jordan Love when I'm thinking about it. Because I don't even put Goff up there, even though Goff been to a Super Bowl. But you got to think about the talent that Goff gonna had on that team, or that he had on that Rams team. Jordan Love got the talent.
Don't get too carried away about Chicago not having talent on wide receivers and Odunze and DJ Moore and those two tight ends, Loveland and the backfield, Swift and the young rookie. So he has talent too, Chicago. So I just like that division in general. And you're right, Vaughn. We don't even know about help me out here with the Vikings guy from Michigan. McCarthy.
Yeah.
He hadn't played enough, and when he did play, he's too mechanical. He definitely needs an offseason to see where he stands. But Minnesota is at the bottom of that conference right now. But you're absolutely right. They have their quarterback for the future, the Chicago Bears, and I think they have the head coach of the future Chicago Bears. And I think it's a successful season. Yeah, they're disappointed tonight or how it turned out, but to win a division, second seed overall, host a playoff game for the second straight week, as far as that fan base in Chicago, that's a win-win. And your clip you showed me a little bit earlier where they are getting their toes and nails done because of
finger paint.
Caleb Williams.
Finger paint Williams.
He's got the pulse of that whole city, and I love it. However, when you look at football-wise, Vaughn, in the game between the Rams and the Bears tonight, and we're giving Caleb Williams all of his flowers, his 3 turnovers ultimately was the undoing of the game.
Right.
The first one, we can let him go because that was 4th down, whether it was incompleted or interception. It didn't matter because it was 4th down. But that other one, right after half, in the cover 2, that wasn't a good one at all. And then the last one where he was trying to make a play or thinking DJ Moore was going to make a play, that gave the Rams the ball back. So I don't want to be so nitpicky and say blame him for anything. I'm not doing that. But that's just the fine line of winning and losing from the quarterback position, because he went from being a hero to being in the loser's locker room.
But I'll even say that first interception is more on Ben Johnson. You need to take the points. That was the first drive. And shout out to my boy Marley. We was talking about it in the group chat. He's like, they getting a little bit beside themselves with this like wild renegade type stuff. This ain't backyard football. Take your points. Guess what? Because you make those points and you ain't going to overtime. It always come back to hunt you. So that they didn't take the points then. Then they didn't complete another 4th down, which I'm not mad at the second 4th down because it would have been like a 50-yarder. But then if you look at it, the kicker made a 48-yarder. So you taking points off the board in critical time. And I mean, I like you putting it all on your quarterback. And my thing was this, and this is why the turnovers don't bother me as much, Joe. I say it all the time in reference to Skyler. When you need it, even on them 3rd down plays, you need a 1st down. I seen Caleb Williams, who is not a physical guy, get the 1st down with his legs, whether it was 4th and 1 and he do the quarterback sneak going up in there, or even it's 3rd and 4 and he had to drop that shoulder and get it done. Yeah. I thought he was going to put it all together. Mistakes come, that's just with just not as much experience. But like I said, I think Ben Johnson, I would give him as much credit for the loss that I would give Caleb Williams just basically turning the ball over, because it should have never, that first 4th and 2, what was the point of going for it there? That was like a 37-yard field goal.
Well, that's why I pointed to my head, Vaughn, is because sometimes you can get in your own head about what type of game it's going to be. He thought Ben Johnson, thinking that the projected MVP on the other side and Sean McVay, the offensive play caller, it was going to be a shootout. And you don't want, and field goals are not going to win a shootout type game. It turns out not to be the right decision, but I think that was his mindset because that's their first drive of the game. And he was saying to himself that, hey, three points is not going to win against a Matthew Stafford led football team. And I see where you're coming from with the turnovers, Vaughn. I slightly disagree because, man, when you turn the ball over, it's just turning the ball over. It's just the bottom line. I mean, you can live with it and you can have the big plays. So all you would want to tell Caleb Williams is keep on doing what you're doing as far as being physically tough in the latter parts of the game. We know we have a chance to win, but be a little bit safer with the football. Make sure you can end the drive on a punt sometimes in terms of not giving it away. But I'm not going to give anything as far as Caleb Williams. It's not on up and coming. And dare I say that team is something to be reckoned with. But at this point, we have to give a credit to the Rams defense because Matthew Stafford had 0 touchdown passes, 46 touchdown passes in the regular season and 0 tonight. So the Rams defense is the one that kept them in the game, turning the ball over 3 times. So it was what you want in a playoff type atmosphere with the 2 juggernauts like that, perennially juggernauts, and then the young Caleb Williams.
Well, I didn't much think it was going to be a shootout either just because of the weather. I felt it was going to be a cold game. And the Bears' defense, even going back to what they did against the Packers, second half pretty much shut the Packers out. I thought it was going to be what it was. We was hoping that was going to be the best game of the weekend. But nevertheless, since we talking about turnovers, we might as well discuss what in the world was going on with CJ Stroud as they straight up just turnover city. It was a turnover temple going on, and New England ended up finishing the game, winning that game. The final score of that one was 28-16. What do you think about the Pats' impressive win? We must give a shout out to Houston's defense because they kept them in the game. The Patriots should have won the game probably by 30 if it wasn't for Houston playing so well defensively.
Vaughn, I can't help. Yeah, you're right. Let me get this off of my chest. And I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but they're deserving. Mike Vrabel, first year head coach at the New England Patriots, back at the place where he won a few Super Bowls. Outstanding job coaching. I heard on the broadcast that they spent over $100 million revamping that defense, or $100 million in free agency period, almost close to $200 million to make sure they went out and got a team that Coach Vrabel can coach. Hiring Josh McDaniels to be able to tutor Drake May, which he had a fabulous season. A lot of people think that he's going to finish second in terms of MVP, or he might win MVP, or they might be co-MVPs in terms of him and Drake, and Matthew Stafford. Outstanding season, and they're going to be playing in the AFC Championship and a chance to go to the Super Bowl. So congratulations. The weather did have a factor, so some of the fumbles that Drake May had with that relentless pass rush with Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. was just out of this world. And that's a top 2, and it hadn't been a top 2 defense the entire season. With that being said, man, I can't explain anything about what CJ Stroud had on his mind going into the game, what he had on his mind during the game. He let his team down. He should be patting himself on the chest and saying, my bad. And D'Amico Ryan is going to look at the situation and look at it and say, did I make the right move as jogging him back out there in the second half? I know he's our franchise quarterback, and I know he does not, or we want to make sure his psychic, we don't, fragile his, take away his ego or fracture his ego. But my goodness, man, did he sell the farm for very, very cheap? Bad decisions. He was just throwing the ball up and hoping that it would, be a completion. He was looking down at the rush. And oh, by the way, this is not an anomaly. We saw it last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. If it wasn't for his defense last week and this week, it would be a blowout like it was last week, so to speak. I mean, it would be a blowout the other way if it wasn't for his defense. So, what do you do with that? And what do you do with that, Vaughn? That's why I've always said that just because you won the MVP your rookie year or rookie of the year, what is that actually getting you? What is that actually saying to you, Vaughn? Tell me, what is it saying? Because CJ Stroud, rookie of the year, and now he's a shell of himself as far as the last two games. I'm not talking about this season because this season he was banged up a little bit. This season he was concussed. But he did not look like a guy that is going to be warranted 45 to $55 million a year because he didn't look like put me on my shoulders. He looked like he had a defense and he was out there wide-eyed like he's never been there before. And this is his third straight year of making it to the playoffs. Very disappointing in the effort CJ Stroud put out there today.
Well, my rebuttal to that was I can't name you nobody on the Texans offense other than CJ Stroud.
Well, you know Nico Collins.
Well, he's hurt, right?
Yeah. You're talking about today?
Yeah. So what? And I seen a lot of drops. Even the final pass where he threw it down the field, I think it was the tight end dropped it. I seen a lot of drops out of Houston today.
Unless you're telling me that he was saying his mindset was like, I have to make every play, and that's what happens. Okay, but I
think he got less weapons than Chicago has, and he doesn't necessarily have Caleb Williams' talent, but he got to be everything for Houston to even have a chance offensively. Because again, I don't know who their running back is. I don't know. Looking at these stats, and not even looking at the stats, but we know CJ Stroud turned the ball over. It was a horrible night, and this was all in the first half. Turnovers was from the first half. We see Drake May, but Drake May had 4 fumbles as well. He only lost, 2 of them and 1 interception. So he had 3 turnovers as well. The only difference that I seen was big catch by Stephon Diggs in the end zone. I think that was before the half. And then it was a big catch by Kayshon Boutte, the one-hand catch in the end zone, snagged on who was that? Stingley?
Derek Stingley Jr.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, those are 2 big catches that was 2 touchdowns. I'm not saying that CJ Stroud didn't play horribly. I'm just saying you don't have nobody on that other side to even make a play like that.
Yeah, but I mean, you're talking about just this game, and I understand Nico Collins and Schultz's tight end is out. I understand that. However, when you have a defense that still kept you in the game, you don't put them in bad situations like he did. So if you have a defense playing like that, then you reserve the right to punt and making sure you put New England back to where they have to drive the whole entire field and let your defense go and rattle Drake May like you're saying. They had him rattle a little bit, dropping the ball on fumbles. But CJ Stroud and the decisions he was making caused the defense to be out there longer than they needed to be out there. He was making, it wasn't tip balls, the interceptions.
He had one that was a tip ball that was intercepted.
Well, it went through the guy's hand, but I mean, when you talking about running and having pressure and just floating the ball up and doing things like that, that's uncharacteristic of a playoff type team with an outstanding defense. And the reason why I'm on them so hard, Vaughn, and I get you with the talent and the guys being out, is because this is back-to-back weeks I'm seeing this. That's all. That's it. That is it. Back-to-back weeks, CJ Stroud looks like he doesn't even belong in the NFL. And this is from a guy that's led his team to where they are now. This is the guy I'm going to give his flowers that, hey, he's the rookie or was the rookie of the year. But now you look at it, and these young quarterbacks, he goes, let me ask you, does he go beyond Caleb Williams right now?
I would say he behind Caleb Williams, but I wouldn't put Justin Herbert ahead of him. I wouldn't put Trevor Lawrence ahead of him. So if you gonna have that type of reserve,
those guys hasn't
won a playoff game.
Okay, but again,
you got to remember this the same. I was never high on the Texans this season. You told me the Texans was on a 10-game winning streak, and that's with him at the quarterback. Yeah, that was because of the defense. You did say because of the defense, But he was still playing quarterback. He was still a quarterback.
No, not Davis Mills won 4 of those games. That's what I was saying. DeMeco Ryan probably could have pulled the trigger at halftime because Davis Mills went undefeated this season when he was in there when CJ Stroud went out with a concussion. So I'm not going to be all on CJ Stroud, and you're right, Vaughn. I will concur. I don't know about Trevor Lawrence, the season he put together. Definitely Justin Herbert. And Trevor Lawrence have won a playoff game, one as well, when they came back with Justin Herbert. But yes, but this guy in the playoffs, not this season, but the last 2 games, digress. Caleb Williams, Drake May, maybe Jaden Daniels. Some of these guys, since he won the Rookie of the Year, these young up-and-coming guys might have just taken a little bit more and put CJ Stroud on the back burner just a tad bit. Bo Nix got
another great defense, but he also has what's the wide receiver?
Cortland Sutton.
Sutton, yeah, and they got a good running game. You know, like I said, I think Houston needs to. I think when Stephon Diggs tore his ACL with Houston, it set them back in multiple ways because that was supposed to be his number 1 target, and he didn't have it at that time. So he hasn't had a real number 1 where you can say.
No, Vaughn, you're wrong, bud. You're wrong. You're wrong on that because that's why they were able to let Stephon Diggs walk a little bit. Nico Collins is the number 1. Nico Collins is a top 10 wide receiver. No, when you were saying earlier why I digressed is that you didn't have him this game while you giving him a pass. I agree, but Nico Collins is a number 1 wide receiver.
Well, did he play last week?
Yes, but that's when he got the concussion.
Concussion like protocol.
Yeah, so he balled all season. No, he has a number 1 wide receiver and a really good tight end. And Marks is a rookie running back that's very, very good. And they got Chubb on their team. So it's a good team, really good team. It's just when you look at it and go forward, he just got to get better. They can run it back. Everybody's healthy. I think CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans can run it back as is.
Looking at, since you brought up Nico Collins,
that's a good year right there.
That's a good year. We not gonna go overboard. 1,100 yards is great for sure. 15. He looked like he a deep threat. Mm-hmm. Only 6 touchdowns. It's still early. It's still early to call and really just bet the house on him. 6'4". Not bad, but sure the Houston Texans could have used him. But let me ask you this, Joe: did the weather not play a factor? And again, I didn't pick Houston. I didn't think Houston stood a chance, regardless. But
right.
did the weather not? With the turnovers, because it was sloppy on both ends. Drake May got 2 touchdowns based on his receivers making plays.
I wouldn't say that, man. I mean, he threw that slant to Stephon Diggs and it was a great catch, but you have to make that read. He put that ball to Booty on Derek Stingley Jr. with only
he could catch it, but without outstanding plays to hold on to it, those aren't touchdowns. And he turned the ball over the same way, just not 4 picks, but fumbles. He had 4 fumbles and lost 2 of them.
For what it's worth, though, take it for what it's worth. I like where you're going, but he played against the number 1 defense in the NFL.
The Patriots can't be too far off the way that defense.
Again, what in my opinion, the turnovers that Drake May had were forced. The turnovers that CJ Stroud had was not forced. It was bad quarterback play. That's the difference. It was bad. I mean, it was throwing the ball in the double coverage, having a wide eye. But again, and you can hear DeMeco Ryans coming out of half when the sideline reporter said, "What did you tell CJ Stroud at halftime?" I told him, "We have your back. Don't act like we don't have your back. Just hold your head up and go out there and play." Because can you imagine what the defensive guys were saying or thinking at halftime? With only down 11 points and you've already turned that ball over 4 times.
Right.
Come on, just help us out here. Help us out a little bit. But I'm still, think that CJ Stroud is a good quarterback. DeMeco Ryans is a really good up-and-coming coach. But it's just a time that New England doesn't lose those playoff games when they are in their own backyard.
Well, the one game where I was dead wrong about, and I must admit, was the Seattle Seahawks versus San Fran 49ers. I had to check my sources and tell them, why y'all ain't tell me the Seahawks was like this? This defense was now,
Yes.
was it the 49ers not necessarily having weapons, or is the Seahawks defense is what they showcase? Because we were surprised that the 49ers was even able to get through the Eagles with no Kittle, so many weapons out. And I'm thinking it was the division game. I thought the home field wouldn't matter as much. But, man, it was over by halftime. You could tell it wasn't. Third quarter, I cut the TV off.
The only hope that the 49ers had to win that game, and the only hope that many teams this season had a chance to beat the Seahawks, was if Sam Darnold was the old Sam Darnold. That's it. That defense, led by Mike McDonald, is outstanding. It's been outstanding. They went back and forth with scoring and leading the NFL in points per game with the Houston Texans. Texans. They turn the ball over. They sack you with Dexter Lawrence. They put you pressure for the back end. Outstanding. It was nothing that surprised anybody. You're going to play the San Francisco 49ers 3 times in the season, 2 times in the last 2 times in 3 weeks. You saw what they did with Kittle on the last game of the season to win the division and get home field advantage, only 3 points. So now you're looking at a San Francisco 49ers team that in 2 games, they only scored 9 points. And they are injury riddled. Even Christian McCaffrey this game was banged up with the shoulder, played a little bit limited minutes. Backup tight end got banged up. So shout out to Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator, to fight through all the injuries that they fought through to even be in a position that they are in. But your guy now, Seattle, do not sleep on Seattle. Your guy from Ohio State, Jackson Smith and Jigba, he's an all-pro. He's not a Pro Bowler. He's a first-team all-pro. Outstanding. The running back, Kenneth Walker, the second. The third, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. The third, outstanding physical bruising running back. The offensive coordinator, Clint Kubiak. He's had some quite a few interviews to be the next head coach. That is a well coached, talented team that's throughout the board. And remember, this was the key pickup. Keep this in mind, Vaughn, that special teams win your game. Rashid Shaheed, that kick returner that you got from the New Orleans Saints mid-season, he's won you 2 or 3 games already in the special teams department. So with all that being said, I have Seattle just battling. And next week, we're going to talk about it midweek. Now you got a chance to go to the Super Bowl, Los Angeles Rams against the Seattle Seahawks. And that'll be also the 3rd time those teams will have played themselves.
Yeah, and the last time they played was a 38-37 overtime thriller. The Seattle Seahawks won at home, so we hope that it's something similar. We can only
it will be.
But I also interested that Cooper Kupp playing against his old team, because Cooper Kupp being with Seattle. But I would say this: anytime, I don't care who the Niners is playing, if Brock Purdy leads your team in rushing, you pretty sure you getting the hell beat out you. And that's exactly what happened. Like you said, CMC was banged up, but,
he can't do it by himself.
No, absolutely. It wasn't even close. So we don't want to spend much time. Congratulations to the Seahawks. The 49ers played spoilers, knocking out the defending champ, Philadelphia Eagles. So they'll be able to rest this offseason. But we got the Seahawks and the Rams as the NFC Championship in Seattle. We'll discuss that a little later on. But I've been waiting to get the Superman.
Here we go.
I've been waiting to discuss
Superman time.
Man, I was thinking that this was gonna happen. I said the writing was on the wall. But first off, I'll let you, see.
I don't have much to say, Vaughn. I don't have much to say in terms of what happened and some magical breakdown here. It's Josh Allen. It's Josh Allen, and it's two things. It's two things. It's Josh Allen why the game went in overtime, and it's Josh Allen is why the Buffalo Bills are going home. Two things. I mean, Josh Allen made some plays to where he looked pretty good, but the carrying the ball very loosely with the fumble before half and giving the Denver Broncos 3 points. I don't know if Sean Payton should have knelt on that ball. Excuse me. I don't know if Sean McDermott should have taken a knee there and go into the halftime. But I understand what he was trying to do. I got Josh Allen. I'm gonna try to see if I can get a field goal before half.
Right.
That entire last drive, three plays that Josh Allen on the one on the corner route to this tight end that fell a little short that could move the chains. That was bad. He didn't even step into his throw. On the controversial interception where I thought it was a clear interception in my opinion, he never had control. You didn't have to review that. That was a quick review assistant or replay assistant that didn't need to take that long, and that was underthrown. So he did not. Somebody must have had some kryptonite. He did not have his cape on, and he's going to look back. Some quarterbacks get in there in the post-game presser and they say, "Hey, this one is on me. I felt I let my teammates down," and very, very emotional. And then you want somebody else, or you would rather somebody else to say, "No, it's a team game." Everybody had the opportunities to make plays and they didn't, so it's just not on you. Yeah, Vaughn, that one was on Josh Allen, because if we're going to give, or I'm going to give you that much credit to be able to get things done when nothing is around you, you're going to have to get it done when it was when it was there for the taking, and you were the reason they lost. And now I'll say this, just to come back at you as far as Josh Allen, if you don't get it done, then it's a problem. This is your chance. You got to win Super Bowl. You got to make it past the divisional round and at least get in the Super Bowl, or at least win the AFC. Yesterday, that was the first turnover that Josh Allen had in 6 games in postseason. So that was my point when we talked previously about Josh Allen not being the reason why they were losing. Josh Allen wasn't turning the ball over at all. That was a complete anomaly what he did yesterday. He's got this NFL record as far as games without a turnover by a quarterback. So he did it yesterday. I didn't expect him to do it, but I can't take it back. He did. I would say he did cost his team the game yesterday. There's no doubt about it.
Well, one thing I had seen, and because we often debate champions versus stars, and we sometimes take the credit off of the stars because they play so well, or whatever the case may be. One thing that I seen, and I'm trying to pull it up just to get my facts correct, but it was something in regards to Josh Allen had as many turnovers in the Bills divisional playoff, which was yesterday, 4, as Jalen Hurts has his entire playoff career in 10 games. So like you often say, you got to protect the football. And a lot of times you were saying the Bills was losing, but it wasn't Josh Allen's fault. In my eyes, I don't care who fault it is. If you lose,
I can never understand that. But go ahead, I'll give you that. I don't understand that.
Now, again, the writing was on the wall. You can only play so perfect. I told you last week where I said, Josh Allen gonna have to play 10 times better to play for to beat Broncos.
He didn't turn the ball. He didn't turn the ball over last week.
No. I just felt like this was gonna be a much harder team. Like I said, I literally said him beating Jacksonville didn't say much. It was a great win the way he won it, but beating Jacksonville don't really excite me. So
I know, Vaughn, but
when you playing against the number one seed,
you're not talking about Jacksonville. You're talking about the historic Jacksonville. You're not talking about, or you weren't talking about Jacksonville this season. I mean, you just weren't.
Jacksonville this season had how many playoff wins?
No, to say that was the first game of the playoffs.
My point exactly. They still the same Jacksonville until you get a run.
That's not the truth.
Until you get a run.
That's just not true. That's just not true, Vaughn. That's just not. I mean, you can't say Jacksonville, traditionally sucks. Now they suck this year. They suck this year because they've been sucking the years past. If that's the case, then Chicago had no chance tonight.
I picked the Rams.
Or last week.
No, I picked Chicago last week.
So why you picked them last week? And traditionally they suck.
Well, Chicago gonna been to the Super Bowl as well.
I mean, with Brian Urlacher?
Yeah, he did. And with Devin Hester, the writing.
But what I'm saying, why do you do that? But why
I go based on if I trust the quarterback or not. And the reason that you picked Jacksonville and I picked the Buffalo Bills was because I trust Josh Allen to get it done over Lawrence. The reason I initially was gonna go for Josh Allen was I thought it could be a close game, but after hearing you talk, I said no. I'm going with the Broncos. It's not going with
guts. See, when you did that, when you changed up there, then that showed me that you playing the guessing game.
No, it wasn't playing the guessing game. You thought that Superman was gonna be perfect, and I said no. The writing on the wall. If he hasn't been winning when he playing perfect, he do one. He do, and the Broncos defense is not sweet.
No, but the Broncos defense didn't. Josh was loose with the pill on Saturday.
But that's not the first game he ever gonna been loose with the pill. Maybe the first game in the playoffs in quite a while.
That's what we're talking about.
But that's my whole point was: is Josh Allen gonna get to the Super Bowl or not? If he's not taking that step to the Super Bowl, just like you just said, was this a disappointing season, or should they feel good about themselves?
Terrible.
Okay, at some point it got to be get to the Super Bowl or bust.
But that's standalone.
But the expectations of Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson is the same because they put in the same boat. That was my only argument. If Lamar Jackson don't get to the Super Bowl and it's a bust season, if Josh Allen don't get to the Super Bowl, it's a bust season at this point because they done everything but get to the Super Bowl.
And Vaughn, I never disagreed with what you just said. All I said when we got you kept on saying it doesn't matter. All I said to you is that Lamar Jackson was the reason why they were losing. That's all I said. And I said Josh Allen had been playing well.
I would disagree in some of those. I would disagree with some of those.
Dude, look at the stats.
You can't say look at the stats and then we said last year playoff game. If Andrews don't catch that,
I'm sorry. Look at the turnovers. So you don't have to look at the stats. Look at the turnover.
But he still had them in the game.
Okay, because you're the quarterback and you're making some plays, but you put your team in a deficit too. So you can't.
You got to take the good with the bad. It's like with Caleb Williams. You gonna take the good with the bad. I'm gonna bet with my guy.
Not. Caleb Williams cost his team the game tonight.
Without Caleb Williams, they would have been not in the playoffs.
Okay, then, Vaughn. What you gonna do then, Vaughn? What you gonna say?
More experience. He'll have another opportunity down the line. You just got to get better.
Well, you can't count on. You can't count on those more opportunities. Dan Marino thought he was gonna get more opportunities.
Well, I don't know why y'all keep giving Josh Allen all of these. He having opportunities to get there, and he keep falling short.
Hold on. What excuse is giving Josh Allen? What excuse?
You was already giving him an excuse saying, well, he doesn't have the talent. He doesn't have the talent around him.
I give him an excuse to what? This was before he won the game. He won the previous game against
Exactly, but you said if he does not go to the Super Bowl, that does not necessarily mean it's not his fault. I said as the leader of the team, if he don't go to the Super Bowl this year, he not playing Patrick Mahomes. It is going to be his fault.
Vaughn,
it just happened to be his fault.
Oh, my God. So that's exactly why I'll never. Your point to my point will never change. So you looking up to it, and everything they're saying now from the games we're gonna watch next Sunday, the Seahawks versus the Rams. Whoever loses that game is going to be the quarterback's fault. So the next game with the Patriots against the Broncos, whoever loses that game is going to be the quarterback's fault, according to you. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody, especially with Bo Nix. See, this is a good transition. with Bo Nix being out after getting the win, what's your thoughts with him not being in the AFC
One more
Championship?
question. I just gotta be clear. I just gotta just make sure I'm clear with my brother right here. Not to bring my son into it, but Skylar and them, their team lost their last game at home or to get second to Westland.
Mm-hmm.
And that was Skylar's fault. He's the quarterback.
No, they played keep away.
I
mean, it was.
But according to you, every time a team loses, the quarterback's
No,
fault.
I say in the playoffs, if we you got to win. It's win or go home.
So keep it real. I mean, I'm just hearing you. So when you lose as a football team,
it's falling on the quarterback's shoulders. If he the leader,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
It's falling on your shoulders. You got to take the credit. You got to take the blame. It's the same thing with the point guard or the star player or the star player in basketball. When LeBron ain't winning, guess what? It's LeBron's fault. Or they'll give a scapegoat. But when LeBron wasn't winning.
That's not true. LeBron getting more credit than taking that team with Dellavedova and those guys to the championship.
Not before he went to Miami. He didn't, because every time he was losing, it's the same thing. LeBron don't know how to win. LeBron don't know how to do this. He was carrying teams to the final.
I think when the San Antonio Spurs, they gave him excuse for losing. They didn't say you should have won.
No, it's a lot of people that was on him and say he should have won. How is this gonna be your
Spurs?
How is this gonna be your king and he got so many he keep losing in the finals? Oh, he had to leave the job. Sometimes you got to learn how to win, and that's something that Lamar Jackson as well as Josh Allen has not learned yet. And we had this discussion in the group chat all the time. You got champions, you got superstars. Superstars don't always be champions. Champions may not necessarily be superstars, but a champion can tell you how to win. A superstar can't necessarily tell you how to go all the way. They can tell you how to win a game, but they can't tell you how to win a championship. And that means a lot. When it's clutch time and everything is on you, you either gonna barbecue or mildew. It's one or the other.
You're being very subjective. But again, I mean, you subjective because, again, you know and I know you're going to stick to it, but a quarterback sit there and go unbelievable 4-5 touchdowns, very few incompletions, and he happened to lose the game, then that's going to be on the quarterback regardless. You sit there and say that to anybody and be like, hey, what are you talking about? Regardless of what happens, that's the quarterback fault.
I guarantee you,
I don't see it that way.
If you ask Tom Brady about that Super Bowl he lost to the Eagles where he broke the record, he gonna say we didn't make enough plays, or he gonna probably even say something that he didn't do.
No, he gonna say we didn't make enough plays. I left some players out there.
There we go.
He doesn't gonna pat his chest like Josh Allen patted his chest yesterday, and he should have.
Josh Allen didn't have no choice but to. That's what I'm saying. Who else you gonna put the blame on?
Exactly. Who's gonna put the blame on you? Right? Yet, Vaughn, about yesterday.
Well, that's my point. But yesterday's outcome is the same as whether he had 5 touchdowns. That's my point.
There's reasons to outcomes of games, man.
Yeah, but at some point you gotta learn how to win, or you just gonna be watching with us during the Super Bowl. It's either or, and that's where them tears come from, because he know they left. This was a key opportunity. While everybody else is down, this was a key opportunity. It wasn't like they didn't lose in overtime. It wasn't like it wasn't a close game. You could clearly say Superman forgot his cape.
You know what? Exactly what you said about Caleb Williams, I can say about Josh Allen.
You can't say that because this is second year.
Why? You said without Caleb Williams, they wouldn't have been in that game.
They wouldn't have been in the playoffs. Yeah.
And without Josh Allen, they wouldn't have been in the playoffs.
That's fine. Josh Allen, the MVP. So that's not saying much.
What MVP doesn't mean anything.
That's like saying, without Lamar Jackson, they wouldn't have been in the playoffs none of these years. So we're not gonna discredit. I never said that Josh Allen wasn't a great player. We only are, his standards is high because of who he is. We're not just throwing out any quarterbacks and say, them making the playoffs ain't saying much. That's my point. They need to be going to the Super Bowl at this point because he already won the MVP.
Why did he need to be going to the Super Bowl?
Because that's the next step. What else has Josh Allen done or haven't done yet? Or what has Lamar Jackson haven't done yet? They done everything in the regular season that you can do.
Everything you're saying is so true. Everything you're saying is so true, but there are circumstances of how games go. Games go by individually. A game is separate from just what you did in the past. Your MVP. A game can be dictated by the game. Yesterday was all on Josh Allen. As a matter of fact, you're right. This is a great transition because he got outplayed by a second-year guy in Bo Nix. He got outplayed. Bo Nix made some plays. Bo Nix made some throws that were just outstanding, playoff type level. And to make that, and I was wondering when he threw that last pass that the ref threw pass interference on that drew a pass interference flag, his leg was already broken. His ankle was already broken.
Bone was already broken, his ankle,
yeah, it was already broken. So have that guts and have that. I mean, to be so high in terms of a coach and Sean Payton, to be so high in a team but you just want an overtime win against a really solid team. But again, they were home against a solid team, the Buffalo Bills, and to come in and find out in the locker room that you lost your quarterback. I mean, you go from so high to so low that fast. It's just gut wrenching. I feel for them, and now they're going to have to go to a guy that hadn't started. I think hadn't started a game in his NFL career.
He got five starts, but hasn't started in 3 years.
Okay, 5 starts, hadn't started in 3 years. You're absolutely correct, and definitely hadn't started a game in the playoffs yet.
No,
so
nor should he.
But see, there you go again, though, Vaughn. Nor should he. You haven't seen him play.
Next man up. We gonna see him play. We gonna see. And if I'm the Broncos, I wouldn't be having my head down. There's no need to make, because you still got one game to play for the Super Bowl, and you playing at home.
But see, that's one thing you are so spot on about right there, Vaughn. I'm just talking about that initial moment of finding out. In that locker room after you own a big, I mean, you clapping it up, you seen Bo Nix do a post-game interview, you see him jogging in the locker room, and then 30 minutes later, you find out he's out for the season. They're human. That's an immediate blow. Now, to your point, today, and probably two or 3 hours later, they're saying, hey, let's rally around Jared Stidham, and we have to play even harder defense. I get that. I know that's what they're going to say they're going to do, but they're not going to be favored at home because of the quarterback situation.
Nor should they, again, because who's this quarterback that's about to play? We got to go pull up the almanac or encyclopedia to see some clips of him playing. But that don't mean he's not ready. We'll see. We'll see. I remind you, since we were just talking about Tom Brady, Super Bowl, Philadelphia Eagles, who was that?
Nick Foles.
Nick Foles came in, did what he had to do. Now he did start like week 16, week 17 on, so he wasn't just thrown right in the fire. But
however now I feel that's a great one you pulled up. But Nick Foles had way more starts outside of that season too.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just, 5 starts like Jack. I mean, he is really a newborn baby in the NFL. Now, he's been in the NFL quite a while, but he just hadn't started. It's going to be the Patriots, man, in my opinion, with an early pick there. But you never know. Never know.
Do not count out Sean Payton. It's not like he just found out. Sean Payton got a full. I think as soon as he heard, I think, like you right, maybe the teammates felt bad for Bo Nix. But I'm sure as soon as Sean Payton heard, he didn't even rejoice. He got straight to the playbook. It's like, okay, this is what it is.
What can Jared Stidham do?
Yeah,
how can I put him in a best situation?
How can I? We know what our defense is gonna bring. We don't know who we gotta play yet. But let me get this playbook together because we know who we starting next week. And I think he got straight to it. Sean Payton.
Yep, and to your point, Vaughn, that Drake May didn't light the world on fire this past game either. Yeah. So you can get after him because the Broncos have somewhat similar pass rush, and they have a top-tier rated MVP corner in Patrick Surtain.
Yeah, I was about to say, great DB.
So it's going to be challenging. So we shall see. It's just you wanted Bo Nix to be there. You wanted those guys to be at their very, very best, but I love it. I love it.
Lastly,
So,
I do want to ask this, unless you got something else, but
no, go ahead.
we must obviously we reign in Atlanta. The Falcons, I don't know if you heard it, it's been a busy weekend for you, but the Falcons head coach, they gonna brought over your guy, Kevin Stefanski. What's your thoughts? Yeah. This was Matt Ryan first. I don't know if it was his call or who called, but I can tell you
his call.
I can tell you from the city, because I keep my ear to the street. People saying what the hell going on in Atlanta? Why? And they are upset. Falcon fans are, Falcons fans love Shador. So now you bring Stefanski over here, who from our thought process was hating on Shador or was completely against it. And it could have been ownership. It could have been something that we don't know. However, I ain't heard nobody happy about this Stefanski pick.
Well, I would tell somebody that, and I've heard that as well. I have my ears here, and they don't like it. They don't like it at all.
Are they in their feelings, or?
They definitely.
But so this was a good choice, because I would say this.
No, Vaughn, I'm alarmed. But what I want to do, I'm alarmed by the choice, because Stefanski does not have a good track record thus far. So Matt Ryan must have seen something, and I had thought. You remember I told you that Matt Ryan wasn't going to be making the decisions, but they don't have a GM yet. So Matt Ryan was doing the questioning. Matt Ryan and Arthur Blank was doing the questioning. So he had a direct hand in hiring Kevin Stefanski. I think it had something to do with maybe if Kirk Cousins is still in the roster, that Kirk Cousins' input of what kind of guy that Kevin Stefanski was when they crossed paths in Minnesota. But for the guys that didn't like the way he treated Shador, they have to miss me with that. I'm not saying they're right or wrong, but that has no bearing on why they think that he could be a successful head coach here in Atlanta with the Falcons. Those are two separate things. Those are absolutely two separate things, as far as, because he hated on Shador, he can no longer coach football. No, things are in place. I'm going to say this, but my initial feelings, because I was on board and I am on board with trusting Matt Ryan with the decision making, I'm going to say let it play out. I'm going to see, Matt. You're on deck, Matt Ryan. Your popularity, your Falcon debut, so to speak, is at hand now. So I'm going to judge you. Your first hire, I'm going to judge you on hiring a guy that went 8-26 in the last two seasons. You hired a guy that last year was dead last in points per game and touchdowns. So what sparked that meeting? Where did you see Kevin Stefanski changing the program around? This is the same Kevin Stefanski that had a number one pick in Baker Mayfield. This is the same Kevin Stefanski that had Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, Odell Beckham Jr. So he had talent, in Njoku. So I'm scratching my head. So I can see, Vaughn, I can totally see why the city of Atlanta is scratching their heads as far as the hiring of Kevin Stefanski, but not the Shador fans hating on him, or not hating on him and saying they don't like him because of what he did to Shador. That's why he's not good for Atlanta. But I see both ways.
My thing was just like you said. It's no way a black coach is getting fired after or winning 8 games, going 8-26 in 2 years, and then he getting hired as the head coach. It's just not happening. Why didn't they? I said that I suggested for the Falcons to come back, and I say come back to what? But for the Falcons to actually do something and be taken serious, they needed a proven head coach, not no new guy. They needed somebody, historic coach, or somebody that could bring the city.
This guy's got to be out there for you to get that guy.
Well, how come? Why not try? Okay, I'll give you a name. I said they should have tried to get Belichick. He could have did both of them. You say Belichick too old. I say okay. What about Brian Flores?
He's not a proven coach.
He just as proven as Kevin Stefanski. Don't give me this 2-time coach of the year mess.
Why can't
because Mike Tomlin only got one coach of the year, and Mike Tomlin don't have no losing seasons. So that was my whole point. Would you compare the two?
Just because you don't have any losing seasons, Mike Tomlin missed the playoff like 6 seasons.
That's fine. But Mike Tomlin is a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, but I mean, calling Mike Tomlin and Stefanski is a blowout. But don't go there. I mean, you go him. Yeah, you're correct. But you mentioned Flores.
Yeah, I would rather.
What has he done?
I guarantee you, his last 2 seasons, he wasn't 8-26. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, but you say no black coaches, and I'm with you. I'm not going to argue against the black coaches, but Raheem Morris still hadn't made it to 500.
Well, I was never behind.
So that's what I'm saying. So
I'm just saying in regards.
You got to be careful. You got to be careful when you say no black head coach.
Okay, but was Raheem
Morris got that?
Raheem Morris' record the last 2 years was what? It wasn't 8-26.
No, Raheem Morris' record was.
He had the same record twice. 14. It probably was 14 and 18, I believe. Let me see real quick.
Yeah, but you have to be there long enough. Again, why I don't understand why you would say or why you would dispel.
He went 8-9 both years, so he was 16 and 18.
No, I'm talking about that's not his first stint as a head coach.
Who, Raheem Morris?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't recall him again ever going. It's just rough for you to go. You only win 8 games in 2 years, and now you getting a head coaching job in a better position, of course. But the Falcons had a lot of questions.
It's a head scratcher.
The Falcons had a lot of questions to begin with. Now it's like everybody's asking, what they doing?
No, well, what Matt Ryan is doing is what I'm asking. What are you doing? What's your angle, Matt Ryan? Obviously, he blew them away in the interview. He sold them a bill of goods.
Because Kirk Cousins is going to be returning because, like he said, Peanut's going to be hurt next year.
Yeah, I can't sell it. I can't tell you I'll buy it. I'm not buying it, Vaughn. I'm not buying it. What I'm not buying is that I'm not buying him being the head coach or the right guy until I see. But like again, I am saying to you, I trust Matt Ryan for that interview process that he saw that this is the right guy, and I'm in a wait and see mode, just like was in a wait and see mode for Bill Belichick when Bill Belichick didn't come on the scene winning. A lot of people forget about Cleveland. He was in Cleveland too.
Yeah, we gonna talk about that.
And he failed.
Yeah, that's fine.
So people can fail and then get another chance. Todd Bowles, he failed at first. So
when did Todd Bowles succeed?
Well, he won the division the last 2 years in Tampa Bay, with the exception of this year.
What they started off this year?
Vaughn. The only way to succeed is not you got to win a Super Bowl.
No, but you can go to the NFC Championship. You can make a run in the playoffs.
Well, Todd Bowles has done that.
Todd Bowles did what?
I made a run in the playoffs last
year. They had 1 win.
Yeah, so that's a run. But I'm saying, Vaughn, golly, man, you were strict.
Yeah, we not going for average.
Coaches, man.
We not going for average.
Who are good coaches then?
Sean McVay.
Well, he's a champion.
Sean McVay is a champion, and every coach should be striving to be a champion.
Any coach that's not a champion is not a good coach.
No, I'm not saying that, but you got good coaches, then you got decent coaches. A lot of times you mix the two, and don't tell me nothing about a coach of the year. I'm talking about when it's time when we watching these division games, when we watching these conference championship games. If your name ain't never mentioned or your team ain't never mentioned, then you not that good of a coach. You might be a good coordinator, but that don't make you not no good head coach.
Well, again, because
yeah,
Kyle Shanahan, what is he?
Kyle Shanahan, San Francisco.
Yeah, he's not a champion.
No, but he gonna been to the Super Bowl. He's also gonna been. I just said
but
that.
He's not a champion.
That's fine. I just said when it comes to the AFC and NFC championship, if you not playing in those, if you haven't played in those, then you not no good coach.
So before today, right? What about Vrabel? He wasn't a good coach.
No, what did Vrabel show that made him a good coach other than this regular season this year? They wasn't doing nothing in Tennessee. That don't mean I didn't think that he had the possibility. That didn't mean that I didn't think he had the possibility, but he early. He's still fresh as a coach. That's like even saying Gerard Mayo. He only had 1 year to show what he had.
Well, that's my point as far as when you're saying he didn't do anything in Tennessee, because you're saying he didn't do anything because he didn't win a championship.
No, I didn't say because he didn't win the championship. I said because he didn't go to he didn't have no playoff run.
Yes, he did. He won the NFC Championship game.
What against who? When they had Derrick Henry?
Yes.
He was the coach then?
Yes.
Well, then I'll take it back. Yes. I didn't think he was the coach then.
Yeah,
Tannehill? I didn't know Vrabel been coaching that long. I thought
Vrabel had 6 seasons over there with Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown. He was the guy that was coaching them boys over there.
Right, he had some talent. Then well, I'll take that back. But if you haven't been to your conference championship game, you got legendary coaches, you got good coaches, and everybody else I don't even talk about. What's the point? Now, and I say this: if they haven't been coaching longer than 3 years, then I give them some grace because you got to still, 3 to 4 years. Okay, cool. Your first 3-4 years as a head coach, all right. But don't tell me you a great coach and you ain't even made it to the NFC, to the conference championship.
No. Don't confuse me now. I don't use that great loosely. You will use it loosely. Great is
no. I didn't use it loosely. We was talking about players, but for coaches, you tried to say that Kevin Stefanski was a good coach. You did say that in October. I dropped the clip.
And I still believe that.
Oh my goodness. Well, then you shouldn't have no problem with the Falcons hiring a good coach.
No, I have a problem with the guy coming off of what he's coming off of and how he debauched the whole situation where now his offense is the weakness. A weakness. I'm like, what happened to you, Stefanski? What happened to you? I can't tell you. Listen to this. I can't tell you right now that Mike McCarthy is still a good coach. Because that's what I was trying to tell you, Vaughn. I was trying to tell you, you don't always stay a good coach. Because you once were a good coach, that doesn't mean you're going to always be. McCarthy is a Super Bowl winning coach. I wouldn't say he's a good coach right now.
I say he a better coach than Kevin Stefanski.
No, don't go there. Don't. I don't want you to compare this one. Can I say that Mike McCarthy is not a good coach anymore? Can I say he once was a good coach and not anymore? Can that possibly be?
Give a different example because I wouldn't let that fly.
Why?
That's like saying Pete Carroll is not a good coach anymore.
Oh, so what?
That's like
hold on.
What?
Hold on. So you would say Pete Carroll is a good coach?
No, I wouldn't say that. That's what I'm saying. That's what you doing.
You wouldn't say what?
I would not say that Pete Carroll is not a good coach anymore just because he stunk it up with the Raiders. The Raiders stunk.
I would say that. Well, he stunk up. They stunk
because
the
Seahawks was pretty good last year when he had Geno.
So you're saying once you win the Super Bowl, you're gonna always be considered a good coach?
Yeah, you always gotta have some respect, but Pete Carroll ain't that far. I know
you're gonna have respect, Bun. I know you're gonna. Don't misconstrue it. I know you're gonna.
If you're not a good coach, then you're a bad coach. It ain't no average coach. You're not no average coach with a Super Bowl.
And okay, but it's good and great. I said Stefanski's a good coach. I didn't say great.
And I say he's not. What do you have to rely on other than saying he got 2 coaches of Coach of the Year awards, which I didn't even know they was giving those out.
Vaughn, I said he was a good coach. Pull it up. I said was a good coach. Just like I'll tell you right now, Pete Carroll was a good coach. He showed me the last 2 years. I mean, he showed me with Vegas. He's not a good coach anymore. I mean, he's old. He was a good coach. I mean, who else? Who won that?
You said Kevin Stefanski is a good coach, right?
I said was, Vaughn. Was.
No, you just said he a good coach. You just said he was a good coach.
Now the whole time I said he was.
So he's no longer a good coach.
I don't know. I'm not gonna.
Listen,
I
man.
don't know.
Kevin Stefanski record is 45-56.
Okay.
That's not a good coach. I don't care what you're talking about. He's not a good coach. He got 2 playoff appearances. He's 45 and 56. He 1 and 2 in the playoffs. He got 2020 and 2023 Coach of the Year. Woohoo! Let's go to Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll, because that's what you just named.
Man, Vaughn, I'm off this. I'm gonna get off this Zoom, man. Cause you tripping now. I'm just telling you, Pete Carroll, go to Pete Carroll. What he just did. I said he's not a good coach anymore.
You judging it based off of 1 year.
Yes, I did.
That's what I'm saying. How are you judging it based off of 1 season?
Vaughn, is Doug Peterson a good coach?
Doug Peterson is a coach for who?
He got fired from Jacksonville. He doesn't coach anymore.
They're not saying much. He was at Jacksonville. No.
Okay, he's the Super Bowl
but
champion.
But he the one that won for Philly.
So what you telling me? So judge that for me.
So I digress.
That's all I'm saying.
Because when you win a championship, it can't be taken away.
You giving him that he's a good coach?
Yes.
Okay. I got you. So once you win the championship, nothing can be done.
Yes.
You can always be
a better coach than Kevin Stefanski.
No, I'm not doing that. Okay, yes.
So Kevin Stefanski is not a good coach. He has not won nothing to hold that crown to say you go 8-26 and you still calling him a good coach. It doesn't happen.
No.
You can win a Super Bowl and you can go 8-26 and you can still be a good coach because you won a Super Bowl. You gonna went to the top of the line.
You can't win the Coach of the Year twice and not be a good coach.
Man, that is not true. That's like saying you can have a winning season every year because the Coach of the Year is based off regular season.
You won an award.
That don't mean nothing. That
to you
because you don't have much expectations.
Please say to me.
How?
To me, that doesn't mean anything.
Who does it mean something to?
The NFL.
Most of the awards are given in place by a lot of times they're giving it to folks that don't have no expectations. No way.
But say that in your opinion, please.
No, it's not just in my opinion. It's a lot of people that feel that way.
Well, non-ball guys.
Man, if anybody name the ball guys that feel like Kevin Stefanski is a good coach, because I haven't heard many of them.
No, it was when he won the NFL Coach of the Year. That's when he was a good coach.
What's his record now?
I don't know what his record now is.
I just told you what his record is. His overall record. He's 45 and 56. He ain't no good coach. He has 1 playoff win. How is he a good coach?
So, I just told you why I think he's
you
a good
say
coach.
Regular season, but again, I measure things based off of championships and success to at least get to the AFC Championship, at least get to the Super Bowl. If you ain't did that,
all right, man.
Then that's what we agree to disagree.
All right, man. All right. Sometimes I just forget.
But it's nevertheless, we'll see what the Falcons do. I don't expect much of them, but
because it's Stefanski.
I didn't expect much of the Falcons before Stefanski. So you think Stefanski gonna make? Listen, I'm the same one that said they should have traded Kirk Cousins, and I said they should have traded Penix before the season started.
That's a whole problem I have with your statement you just made in the Atlanta fan base and the Atlanta folks. They could have hired Bill Walsh, God bless the day, come back. And they're going to say, no, we're cursed. Nobody.
I didn't say nothing about the Falcons being cursed.
I mean, but they ain't going to never do nothing right. Falcons ain't going to never win. Not you in general, but that's what you just said.
That's what I would say. Yeah.
Why? Because of the past?
Where is your optimism coming from? Because it's a new season?
Because it's a new person.
I tell people this all the time,
because
especially Falcons fans.
It's a new GM. It's a new person.
How many GMs they gonna have?
But I don't know.
In the history, how many GMs they gonna have? It's like talking about the Cleveland Browns. You can have expectations as a fan, and then you can be let down every year. Not even every year. Week to week, you let down. You know how many times I had? Shout out to my boy. Shout out to my boy Buzz. He's from Atlanta, but he live up there in DC and Baltimore. And he swore up and down. He tried to tell me B. John Robinson was the next Barry Sanders, and he swore up and down that the Falcons was gonna win the NFC, not the NFC South, but they was gonna win the NFC. And I said, boy, what is you on? Like, them type of expectations, it's almost as delusional as Cowboy fans. But at least the Cowboys can go back talking about Drew, go back to Troy Aikman and go back to Emmitt Smith and go back to prime time and those times. Right now, a lot of fans.
That's not delusional.
How is that not delusional?
You said your boy said that before the season started.
Yeah. And I said, how is Barry?
Go ahead, finish your point.
I said, how is Bijan Robinson the next Barry Sanders when he ain't even the best running back that's in the league? Saquon was coming off a legendary season, so I said he got to at least be the next Saquon before we start talking about the next Barry Sanders. That don't mean Bijan not nice, but until the Falcons have a solidified quarterback, which what they got in Chicago right now, somebody you can rally behind. Don't sell me this fool's gold with Penix or with Kirk Cousins. It ain't that. And they don't have a coach. And they still don't have a coach. The Falcons got issues.
I'm very disappointed in you. Your boy, what's his name?
His name Devin. They call him Buzz, though. Shout out Devin.
Buzz, at the point, I could see it. At the point Buzz was talking about is why the NFL experts that's dive into it had the Atlanta Falcons winning the NFC. So see, you shaking your head because they ain't never done it?
No, because they don't know what they guess is as good as mine. So that's those NFL experts. Those NFL experts.
I'm not gonna get that back.
You give them too much credit.
No, Vaughn, because I'm not giving you credit because you don't watch.
I don't have to watch because they telling me the same thing that a crazy fan would say.
But what Buzz was saying was right. Bijan turned out being the best running back this year.
That's fine. And he said Penix was going to be the guy. And I said Penix not the guy. Before he got hurt, he wasn't the guy.
Why'd you say what?
It's nothing that showed.
No, hold on, Vaughn, for a second. Just hold on. Listen to yourself. You said Buzz was telling you this before the season started, right?
Yes, but he says it every season about the Falcons.
So why would you say Penix wasn't the guy before the season?
Because nothing Penix has not showed. I've said this a few times. Atlanta and Cleveland is very similar. Listen. I'm not even talking about the Browns. Atlanta and Cleveland is very similar in regards to sports cities. In regards for them to uplift and win a championship, because I'm not talking about nothing else if we not talking about championship. I don't care if they make the wild card and lose the next week. In order for them to win a championship, they're going to need a transcendent player. Guess what? The only way the Cavs won a championship was because of LeBron James and because of Kyrie Irving. The Falcons ain't got that with Penix. I don't care how high you is on Penix. He ain't that.
They got a transcendent player, though.
And who?
Bijan Robinson.
That's why they didn't make the playoffs this year. Bijan wasn't that transcendent.
Why?
Why was it? How was he? Transcendent player is Saquon Barkley. That's a transcendent player. You put the guy on the team, they win the Super Bowl. You put the guy on the team, he breaking records.
Vaughn, can you digress? Because you remember now, where did Saquon Barkley play his first 6 years? Where was the Super Bowl?
He was a monster. He was a monster for the Giants.
So why didn't they make the playoffs then?
They didn't have a quarterback. That's my point.
So now you're moving the goalposts.
How?
What I'm saying is, when I mentioned Bijan Robinson to you, you said he's not that transcendent because they didn't make the playoffs.
I said he's not Barry Sanders. That's my whole point. I said my original statement was he said that this guy was Barry Sanders, and I said no, he's not. I'm not taking nothing away from Bijan Robinson, but I said for the Falcons to win, they need a real somebody that's gonna be how Vic was, but better than Vic. And that's not Penix. Ain't that guy? Penix wasn't. I wasn't high on Penix. Everybody else kind of like.
Bijan Robinson is not a transcendent player because he didn't make the play. The Falcons didn't make the playoffs.
No, Bijan Robinson is a really good player. He might be a top 5 running back. That ain't gonna get the Falcons nothing.
I understand, but again, Saquon Barkley was a transcending running back at the Giants too.
Yeah, and then he came to a better team with an actual quarterback, and with a winning culture, the Falcons don't have no winning culture. The Falcons still trying to figure it out. And they still don't even know who their quarterback is.
Yes, they do.
Who?
What do you mean? This season and going forward? It's Penix.
Man, it's not. Penix about to be out the whole season.
No, he's not going to be out there close.
Man, watch
again,
Kirk
Cousins. What I'm saying is the hope. I'll leave it with this. The hope, again, you're not a fan. I know you're a Patriot fan. I understand that. But that's
I retired with Brady.
Everything. So you don't have a fan? You're not
no,
a fan anyway?
I'm not an NFL fan. I'm an Ohio State fan, and I retired with Brady.
Yeah, you've said that, but you sound like most people that have their head in the sand about the Falcons that because 28-3, because of whatever happened 10 years ago last year, they can never be good. That's like they can never be good.
It's what your expectations are good.
It's almost like they jinxed.
They can never win a championship. What's the expectations are good?
Why they can never win a championship?
Yeah, you tell me. When the last time they did it?
That doesn't mean you give up hope that they can. Goodness.
Well,
that was the same thing.
I'm gonna put at the end. I'm gonna put the hope. I'm gonna put a clip. I'm gonna put a clip of hope.
I say this.
I'm gonna put this clip of hope by Dick Gregory. What he says hope is.
I'll say this before we wrap up in between the lines. I'll say this, Vaughn. Before 2017, everybody, including me, well, not you, because you probably said something else, but football fans, experts were saying that the Philadelphia Eagles would never win a Super Bowl. Vaughn.
Why would they say that when they was in the Super Bowl against Brady in 2004?
Because that's what it was. That's what they were saying. They'll never win. I said win.
That's what I'm saying.
The Falcons have been in the Super Bowl twice too. The Falcons were in the Super Bowl in 1999, and the Falcons have been in the Super Bowl
blew
twice.
out.
And they've been winning overtime in the next one. So why they can't do it? And I'll give you one more, Vaughn. Before 2009, when my cousin Pearson Preller was on the team, the Saints had a bag on their head. Some people said they would never win the Super Bowl.
You needed Drew Brees. You needed the NFL's most accurate passer of all time, Reggie Bush, NCAA most electrifying player we've ever seen. You need them type of players, and the Falcons don't have those guys.
Before Russell Wilson, the Seattle Seahawks hadn't won a championship.
That's the Legion of Boom. Again, you giving Russell Wilson way too much credit.
I digress. Before the Legion of Boom, Seattle Seahawks hadn't won anything. So to say these franchises never will, I mean, I don't understand where you're coming from when you say never. And we've seen people be the first in your generation. In your generation, Vaughn, and yours, you've seen NFL franchises win their first Super Bowl. And now you're saying that an organization can't do it?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. And again, we won't live forever, but until it's a Super Bowl parade coming through Atlanta, guess what? I will always tell Atlanta fans. And my thing is this: you got to show me success was born in the show me state. I don't want to hear about all this hope. Either you gonna do it or you ain't.
Yeah, but Vaughn, you're right. I'm not going to do that because you don't like to take the steps. Nobody can take any steps in front of you.
What steps can you take when you already been to the Super Bowl? The next step is to win it.
I can't tell Sevon. I can't tell you next year, or any Atlanta fans can't tell you next year if this head coach Stefanski would happen to lose today in this round. And be like, okay, we up on the up and coming. You would burst everybody's bubble and say, "Ain't the Super Bowl, so shut up."
Yeah, I would say, hey, for y'all, that's the big expectations for y'all.
So again.
But you gotta remember, following Tom Brady is Super Bowl a bust every year for me, baby. If we not winning the Super Bowl, then it ain't a good season.
So Chicago fans, shut up. Y'all didn't do nothing this year. Right?
Chicago had 4 wins last year. So
again, this year's still nothing because they didn't win the Super Bowl, right?
Over the next decade, I mean, like I said, judging for the past decade, they got a lot to be, but they don't have an MVP. They don't have a Josh Allen. Josh Allen done everything that they can do. So like you said, it's steps. You can't keep saying the Falcons step. The Falcons was up 28-3 in the Super Bowl. What's the steps now?
You can't. That's not the same staff. What do you mean?
All right. Well, then maybe you'll be happy with 9 wins next year.
My point is
winning the NFC South.
I thought this was real clear. My point is, if the Falcons have a turnaround and do what the Chicago Bears did this year, you still would say, "Whoa, nothing, no big deal."
Yeah,
and you just told me 30, 40.
I wouldn't be.
You just told me 40 minutes ago that Chicago did a good job. They had a
so
good season.
If the Falcons do the same thing that Jacksonville did this year,
no.
Jacksonville, because I look at the quarterback similar. Jacksonville, I don't even look at Penix like Lawrence, but Jacksonville, because I look at the Falcons closer to Jacksonville. The Falcons has been to the Super Bowl. Jacksonville ain't never won nothing. You can't name Chicago. Chicago at least been in the Super Bowl. Chicago got a historic team. You can't mention Chicago.
Team? What are you talking about?
1985 Chicago Bears.
Oh man, God, you're going way back. Okay,
William Perry. What we talking? Walter Payton didn't exist.
So they got a historic team. So why you can't bring them up now lately when they had the number 1 overall pick? Remember now, Chicago Bears.
And this is second year. He was in the same classes. He was in the same class as Penix.
How bad did you have to be to get the number 1 overall pick? So they were bad.
So and look what they doing now. What was the Falcons doing? What was the Falcons doing last year?
But to your point, they're not good.
What was the Falcons doing last year?
Show me the trophy. Either they show you the trophy, the Chicago Bears, or they're not good.
What was the Falcons doing last year? They was number 2 seed in the NFC though.
But if they don't hold up the trophy, they're no good, according to you.
That's not true. That's not.
What are you saying then?
You try and mix what.
So what are you saying then? I'm trying to say, I asked you that. I said if the Atlanta Falcons.
You said it has to be steps, but I said at what point do they get a chance? My thing is this: as a fan, the Falcon fans say next year is our year. We gonna win the championship. We gonna win the NFC. All right, show me. And if you don't win it, and if you don't win the NFC, then why would I care that y'all won the NFC South in a stink division?
See, now you always move the goalposts. What if they move to the NFC South? And like I said, what if they have the same season to make it to the same point that the Chicago Bears made it to?
Good for them. I still wouldn't be watching them in Super Bowl weekend.
So why is it not just with your same attitude and same nonchalant? Good for Chicago. You didn't win the Super Bowl, so why? I don't care. Why don't you have that same?
Because Chicago has a quarterback that you can guarantee is going to be around. You can't say the same for the Falcons. They don't even know who their starting quarterback is. They're in the same position they was in 2 years ago. And
that's why it'd be more impressive that they get to the same place.
What'll be more impressive?
If they win the NFC and get into today's divisional round and lose like the Chicago Bears just lost, and next season they do the same thing.
I love to see Kirk Cousins do it. Again, we just went over Kirk Cousins. We talked about his record in 14 seasons.
Individuals like that. I'm just talking to the team and the success of the team. You go into individuals and
because it takes the right type of leadership in order for you to get there. You ain't just getting there by happy chance. If Caleb Williams ain't walking through that door, the Bears ain't in the playoffs. The Bears ain't winning no game in the playoffs. They definitely ain't coming back down 20-3. The Falcons don't have a quarterback that they can rally behind that can come back from a 20-point deficit or from a 17-point deficit. They don't believe. And I definitely don't believe. And you got to show me. And guess what? The same way when Miami beat Ohio State, or when Indiana beat Ohio State, you got to show me. All that other stuff is just mere talk. What we talking about? You got to show me.
Vaughn, it's hard to have a conversation with you because if it's just Super Bowl or bust, then it's nothing.
Well, if you don't make the NFC Championship.
So now you're changing it, the NFC Championship.
No, because everybody not going to make the Super Bowl. I'm not expecting the Falcons to make the Super Bowl.
What is pretty good then? What would be pretty good?
I don't know. I don't register stuff for pretty good. Like pretty good don't really exist.
So it's then it's the Super Bowl.
No,
then.
no. NFC championship is what you consider where you can be like, okay, unless you got an MVP on your team, then it should be Super Bowl or bust.
So that's what I'm saying. So to your point,
Tom Brady last 10 years of his season. Yeah, but
you don't do
Chicago Bears was already playing with house money. They wasn't expected to do nothing.
So how would you sum up their season then?
They disappointed.
I know they disappointed. How would you sum it up? But the season the Chicago Bears had in Sevon Williams' eyes is what?
Better than the last 10. They got something to look forward to.
But you ain't impressed because they didn't win the Super Bowl.
They got something. I wasn't expecting them. I didn't expect them to get past the Rams. I chose the Rams.
Impressed?
I'm impressed with Fingerpaint Williams. I'm impressed with what Ben Johnson doing. Yeah, I like what the defense they got going on. I'd like to see what they take the next step.
Right, but can you at least can that come out of your mouth? You impressed? I mean, they didn't make it to the championship game.
They exciting. Didn't make it to the Super Bowl. It's exciting to watch.
Could you at least say they had a pretty good season? Could you say that?
Yeah, I ain't gonna go against it. Boy, I ain't gonna go against it, but I just don't want. I don't want mediocre. I don't want mediocrity because so often we give mediocrity or we say mediocre. Like if you're not making the playoffs, you shouldn't be talking. I'm in that mode. I'm of that era. If you don't make the playoffs, you shouldn't even speak. And if you make the playoffs and get put out like Pittsburgh, you ain't got nothing to say neither. Because you barely made the playoffs. It was good for you to make the playoffs. I was rooting for Mike Tomlin. And then if you show up to the playoffs and you lay an egg like CJ Stroud just did, you better shut your mouth when real champions coming through.
So, Sevon Williams, so only 4 teams can open their mouth, right?
At this point, yeah. Okay. Yes. What? Anybody else, guess what? That's why I said, even with NCAA, when my team get put out, I ain't picking nobody. I'm not jumping from another team and saying it. I don't move like that. I win with them, I lose with them. Now, guess what? A lot of NFL fans, they team get put out, and then they picking another team the next week because they want to be a winner. It's either you're a winner or you're a loser. It's that simple.
Because you're a man, I respect what you're saying. I respect what you're saying. I respect what you're saying. I mean, you moving the goalposts. Either it's Super Bowl or bust for everybody, or it's not.
No, but y'all expectations. For my expectations, yes. Again, if you make the NFC.
I know how last year Washington Commanders had a good season.
So what?
And to Sevon Williams, they did so what? Just like you just said, for Sevon Williams, so what? You didn't win the Super Bowl, so what? I don't feel it that way. I thought I didn't say
that was Jaden Daniels' first year.
Yeah, but again, they didn't win the Super Bowl.
They wasn't expected to neither.
Nor was the Chicago Bears expected to get where they were this year.
And that's what I just said. I said that the Bears had no expectation.
But you said pretty good. You said if I forced you to do it, it's pretty good.
No, I said if you look based on the last 10 years, this was a good season. You shouldn't judge it based on my expectations because I'm not the same.
No, you ain't crossing me over because you going with just a championship.
It's the same thing for everybody. Because if I didn't expect the Bears to go for a champion, they was a Cinderella story. What are we talking about? Nobody had the Bears as the favorite for anything. If that was the case, I would have picked the Bears.
But that's what I'm saying. So boo them off stage, in your opinion.
No, it's not to boo them off stage. They was exciting. But guess what? They got to get off the stage anyway because they no longer playing.
Yeah.
So we only watching who playing. Everybody else can be quiet. Or they can say we'll get them next year. Whatever make them feel better. It's been another great episode of In Between the Lines. Y'all be sure to follow and subscribe to the channel. We got the NCAA championship tomorrow. More great conference championships this upcoming weekend. And so it might be some more head coaching news because it's still some vacancies moving forward. But the Falcons, obviously, it's Kevin Stefanski. Joe don't know if he might lead them to a championship, or he it seems like he's a little conflicted in regards to, he's optimistic, but he's conflicted. For me,
definitely,
you got to show me something. But it's been another great episode. Y'all know it's been some great football thus far. We can't ask for nothing more than these great overtime thrillers. Let's hope it stay the same way. I'm hoping this national championship really be one to remember.
Go ACC.
In between the lines.